can a person appear deeply religious and yet remain spiritually asleep? In every age, devotion often gets measured by visible forms: prayer, fasting, charity, ritual precision. But Al-Ghazali, one of Islam's greatest intellectuals, questioned this assumption. He argued that a ritual performed without awareness is like a body without a soul. The movement exists, but the meaning does not. He proposed that the true aim of religion is not behavioral conformity, but inner transformation, a reordering of consciousness itself. The question, then, is not how many rituals one performs, but how deeply one understands what they are for. This is the shift from external religiosity to inner wisdom, and it shows how his insight foreshadowed what modern psychology and neuroscience are only now beginning to confirm. That genuine transformation begins within consciousness, not behavior. Today's world has its own version of outer ritualism. It appears not in mosques or monasteries, but in wellness routines, corporate mindfulness programs, and social activism driven by public visibility. Many meditate to reduce stress, pray to feel comfort, or volunteer to appear compassionate. The actions look meaningful, but often lack depth. Psychology calls this cognitive dissonance, the tension between external behavior and internal belief. Neuroscience adds another layer. Repetitive behavior activates the brain's habit circuits in the basal ganglia, but not the reflective networks in the prefrontal cortex that generate awareness and insight. When the brain automates, consciousness disengages. The result is a divided self, outwardly disciplined, inwardly detached. We perform routines of virtue while feeling increasingly hollow. Repetition without reflection numbs the spirit. The form remains, but its purpose evaporates. Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali was a jurist, philosopher, and theologian, a towering scholar of the Islamic Golden Age. By midlife, he held one of the most prestigious academic chairs in Baghdad. He had mastered logic, law, and theology, and yet, at the peak of achievement, he lost his voice, literally. During a lecture, his speech froze. His mind no longer trusted the certainty of its own reasoning. Modern psychology might describe this as an authenticity crisis, when the intellect's constructions collapse under the weight of their own artificiality. Theories no longer satisfy the heart. Al-Ghazali left public life, wandering in search of direct experience. His years of solitude led him to a realization: rituals and doctrines are scaffolding, not the building itself. Without sincerity, they are empty gestures. With sincerity, even small acts become luminous. The body of religion is ritual. Its spirit is sincerity. For Al-Ghazali, rituals are not performances for divine approval. They are instruments to train consciousness, reminders to return to presence. He emphasized niyya, or intention, as the foundation of spiritual value. In psychological terms, intention is the mental frame that gives behavior its meaning. The same action can express fear, vanity, or love, depending on the intention behind it. Neuroscience supports this view. When people perform tasks with conscious awareness, neural pathways between attention centers and emotional regulation areas strengthen. Without such awareness, the brain treats the act as routine, producing automaticity, movement without growth. Consider two people in prayer. One repeats memorized words mechanically. The other uses the moment to observe inner states: gratitude, resistance, longing. The external ritual is identical, yet the internal experience diverges completely. For one, it is habit. For the other, transformation. The purpose of ritual is not to satisfy routine, but to awaken consciousness. As in meditation, the posture itself is secondary. What matters is the quality of presence. Al-Ghazali drew a sharp line between ilm, theoretical knowledge, and mufa, realized knowledge. Ilm informs the mind. Mirfa reshapes the self. He criticized scholars who know the path but do not walk it, those whose intellect expands but whose character stagnates. Knowing that a behavior is healthy does not make it automatic. Information rarely changes action until it integrates emotionally. A person can study compassion, but still react with irritation when criticized. The concept is known, but not embodied. Inner wisdom begins only when understanding transforms emotional response, when knowledge is metabolized into being. Education without purification leads to arrogance, intellect detached from humility. Rituals should express inner clarity, not compensate for its absence. In Al-Ghazali's Psychology of the Soul, the heart, the qalb is not the seat of emotion, but the organ of perception. Rational thought can describe reality, but the heart experiences it directly to perceive clearly. The heart must be purified of distortions such as envy, pride, and greed. He likened these to dust on a mirror. They obscure reflection. The act of purification is, in modern language, emotional regulation, the capacity to notice and dissolve reactive states before they shape behavior. When emotional clutter reduces, awareness of internal states improves. The brain's models of self and world become more precise. This is exactly Ghazali's insight. Ritual cleanses perception only when it polishes the inner mirror. Ritual, then, is motion. Wisdom is clarity. When the mirror is clear, every ordinary act reflects truth. When it's clouded, even worship becomes self-deception. At the center of Al-Ghazali's teaching stands Ikhlas, sincerity, the alignment between intention and action. Actions done for reputation, fear, or reward are forms of subtle idolatry, because they make the ego the hidden object of worship. Even spiritual ambition, wanting to feel spiritual, can be ego-driven. The desire to appear pure contaminates purity itself. Behavior driven by internal values fosters stable well-being, while behavior driven by approval or external pressure creates dependency and anxiety. Sincerity, then, is not just a moral virtue. It's a state of psychological coherence. The hypocrite moves by habit, the sincere by presence. The sincere person acts not to appear good, but because goodness has become natural, an expression of inner order. Ritual's power lies in repetition, but repetition also breeds danger. The brain's efficiency mechanism transforms repeated behaviors into automatic patterns to conserve energy that efficiency keeps. Daily life functional but can turn spiritual practice into an unconscious routine. Without reflection, the act persists while awareness fades. Al-Ghazali called this the deception of action, the ego's clever use of religious form to maintain its own image. One continues to do good while quietly being unchanged. Outer acts can awaken inner presence only when performed as mirrors, not masks. The true ritual is not merely kneeling, fasting, or reciting. It is the continuous practice of self-observation, the mind returning to itself to verify its sincerity. Only this transforms repetition into revelation. How can this insight be practiced today? Step 1. Awareness before action. Before beginning any act, pause. Observe your motive. Is it anxiety, pride, obligation, gratitude, or love. Awareness neutralizes self-deception. Step 2. Intention alignment. Form a conscious intention that reflects intrinsic value. I do this to clarify my heart, not to appear devoted. Intention links focus with emotion, creating coherence. Step 3. Reflection after action. Review not the external outcome, but the internal effect. Did the act deepen awareness or merely reinforce identity? When intention and awareness align, emotional stability and meaning deepen. Every act becomes conscious. The outer ritual becomes an inner laboratory for awareness. Why does inner wisdom trump outer ritual? Because the outer can only imitate truth. The inner can recognize it. Al-Ghazali was not rejecting ritual, he was redefining its purpose. The body of religion is ritual, but its life is awareness. Without consciousness, ritual becomes theater. With consciousness, even the simplest act becomes revelation. Awareness transforms behavior. Behavior alone rarely transforms awareness. True spirituality begins not when one performs perfectly, but when one perceives clearly. The aim is not more ritual, but more reality in each ritual. The ritual is the body of faith. The inner wisdom is its breath. Without breath, the body moves, but it does not live. In your own practice, which parts are alive, and which are only repeating?